I was never more than a slacker, pretty useless to society, really. Who knew that reading a novel, mouthing off a few complaints in the comments, would get me zapped by some mysterious force right into the pages of this angsty drama? The second I figured out what was up, I decided to grab my daughter and run. To hell with everything else. As for the dumpster fire I was leaving behind, not my damn problem. I was a security guard, pulling in about $2,500 a month. I was perfectly content. One mouth to feed my own. No dependence, no drama. 8 hours on the clock, then back to my dorm. I never bothered going out. That just wasted money. My evenings were spent sprawled on my bed, scrolling through free ebooks online. Cheapest entertainment there is. But then I stumbled across this one novel, this Misery Lit, and it just broke me. What kind of garbage was this? The male lead, the supposed hero, one day he's got a perforated stomach, the next he's allergic to mangoes or shellfish, and the day after he's just standing there while anyone who wants to slaps him around. He's supposed to be getting away from the people hurting him, but no, he has to wait 7 days or give them another chance, or he refuses to sign the divorce papers. I got to that point and just lost all desire to keep reading. It wasn't that I didn't want to subject myself to more trash. I had plenty of time, over 10,000 hours logged reading. I'd seen every kind of train wreck novel out there. You could say I was immune to bad writing by now. But this one just made me see red. I couldn't help it. I dropped a comment. Just leave already, you spineless idiot. You deserve all the crap you get. I honestly didn't think anything of it. Just one little comment. And bam, some mysterious force sucked me into the book. Suddenly, I was the male lead. I don't even know where to begin with this mess. I've already stopped trying to figure out why I'm here. Luckily, the plot hadn't gotten to the part where I get systematically destroyed. Yet, I just arrived. My CEO wife, Ava Mitchell, her old flame, Leo Vance, had just returned to the States with his daughter. Ava saw Leo struggling to take care of his kid and thought, oh, the poor man, he's having such a hard time. She just decided to become a surrogate mother to Leo's daughter. I selectively absorbed the original guy's memories. He was an orphan from some small town, worked his way through college as a server at a hotel. The beautiful CEO, Ava Mitchell, someone slipped her something at a party. The original me happened to be delivering something to her room, and she forced herself on him. One night stand, and boom, Ava was pregnant. After that, Ava did the responsible thing and married him. Signed the papers. Post-wedding, the original me just stayed in Ava's house, quietly taking care of her, raising their daughter Daisy, occasionally even playing assistant for Ava at her company. Only, Ava never publicly acknowledged him as her husband, and she wouldn't even let Daisy call her mom. That's the gist of it. As ridiculous as it sounds, that's the author's setup. Nothing I can do to change that. But what happens next? That's my call. I was planning my escape. To escape, you need money. I looked around the penthouse, at all the designer furniture, Ava's collection of luxury bags and accessories, and a satisfied grin spread across my face. It'd be a crime not to take it, right? We were legally married. She couldn't report me for theft without looking like a fool, and besides, she was loaded. Ava was busy with company stuff, plus helping her old flame with his kid. She wouldn't be paying me any attention. Daisy was at preschool. I immediately contacted a high-end consignment dealer, told them to come over and clear the place out. I didn't care too much about the price. My only demand was that they be quick. The dealer showed up fast. I urged them to hurry. Anything sellable I sold. Sofa, TV, beds, even the fancy china in the kitchen. Nothing was spared. When people asked why I was selling everything, I just told them I had terminal cancer and needed money for treatment. They'd give me these pitying looks and stop asking questions. Even the building security knew. In the end, the dealer gave me over $250,000. I knew the stuff was worth more, even secondhand, but what did I care? They paid cash fast. A guy making $2,500 a month had never seen that much money in his life. I was content. It was basically enough to live on until I died. I happily went to the bank, changed all my PINs and online banking passwords, just in case Ava got any funny ideas about dipping into my newfound fortune. I also withdrew a good chunk of cash for the road. You never know what might happen. Better safe than sorry. After all that, I should have just hit the road. But then I thought of Daisy, my daughter. She was 5 this year. I decided to swing by the preschool. If Daisy seemed okay, if I felt a connection, I wasn't opposed to taking her with me. After all, I'd wanted a companion for years. In my old life, I was an orphan. No ties, no one to miss me. I'd lived alone for so many years, I actually craved having someone to talk to. Besides, Daisy really relied on her dad, the original me. If I left her, I couldn't imagine what her life would be like. I got to the preschool before pickup time. I went straight to her teacher and said I was taking Daisy on a trip. The teacher bought it. She brought Daisy out, then went back inside. One look at Daisy, and I was smitten. She was adorable. Everything about her just clicked with me. Taking this cute kid on the run? Definitely worth it. Daisy saw me and ran, throwing herself into my arms. Daddy, you're here to pick me up. Why so early today? Looking at her cute face, smelling the faint, sweet scent of her hair, I was thoroughly pleased. Daddy's going back to his hometown for a bit, Daisy. Want to come with? When Daisy heard hometown, her eyes lit up. Yes. I've never been to your hometown, Daddy. When are we going? Is Mommy coming with us? I said, we can leave right now. Your mom's busy with work, so she can't make it. Daisy hadn't completely given up on Ava yet. Ava was her biological mother, after all. Even though Ava didn't let her say Mommy, Daisy knew the truth. No one could change that. Ava hadn't started hurting Daisy yet, favoring Leo's daughter over her. I had to lie, to slowly ease her into a life without Ava. I took Daisy straight to the station and bought tickets for an Amtrak train heading toward my old region. Daisy's withdrawal papers from preschool? Why bother with that crap? I left without them, didn't I? Divorce papers? Why would I get divorced? Maybe when Daisy grew up, she could still inherit some of Ava's fortune. Resignation letter? Wasn't that just pointless bureaucracy? I barely made anything working for her anyway. Did I really need to file paperwork for that? I had $250,000 in my pocket. You think I cared about chump change? As for any other female CEOs or rich heiresses who might fall for me later, what did I care? That kind of attention only came after me, and Daisy suffered. Even if they did fall for me, I'd just be swapping one tormentor for another. Why would I put myself through that? I had a pile of cash. Living a carefree life with Daisy sounded a hell of a lot better, didn't it? Soon after we boarded the train, Daisy fell asleep. Just as I was about to doze off myself, my phone rang. I glanced at it. Ava. I answered, curious to hear what she'd say. The second the call connected, Ava's voice came through, sharp and demanding. Kevin, I need you to make some sliders and fries and bring them to my office. Leo's daughter, Mia, is craving them. Damn it, Ava, are you nuts? If she wants sliders, let her own damn father make them for her. I snapped and hung up. To avoid further disturbances, I turned off my phone. I didn't delete Ava's number, though. Might come in handy someday. Then I conked out. On the other end of the line, Ava was probably fuming. The me she knew had never defied her, let alone cursed at her. Ava was probably shouting, Kevin, you've got some nerve. How dare you hang up on me? How dare you call me nuts? Just wait till you get home. I'll deal with you then. Sitting across from Ava, now also her assistant, her old flame, Leo Vance, probably chimed in, What's wrong, Ava? Did you ask Kevin to make those sliders, and he refused? I didn't want him to really. It's just that Mia, she just got back to the country and hasn't had much of an appetite. You told me his sliders are really good. I didn't want to trouble him. It's all my fault, making you two fight because of me. Leo, holding his daughter's hand, looking at Ava with that perfect blend of self-reproach and helplessness that always got to people. And Ava, she always fell for it. Leo, it's not your fault. It's all Kevin. You don't cook, so what's the big deal about him making one dish? Take me out for a quick bite somewhere. I'm going home right now to sort Kevin out. He's really crossed the line this time. With that, Ava probably stormed off, not giving Leo or his daughter another thought, eager to come home and give me a piece of her mind. Ava got home quickly, but when she punched in the code, opened the door, and called out Kevin, she was stunned by the sight. The sofa? Gone. The TV? Gone. She searched the entire apartment. No sign of me or Daisy. The beds were gone. Her designer bags and luxury items were gone. Even the damn dishes from the kitchen were gone. All that was left were her documents and clothes. Robbery? But that didn't make sense. Who steals everything these days? Confused, she went down to the building management to ask what was going on. The management knew the situation. Besides, I hadn't tried to hide it. They told her the man of the house had cancer, terminal, and he'd sold everything to pay for treatment. Ava was completely bewildered. She just called me, and I'd sounded perfectly healthy, full of energy, not like someone with cancer. But she couldn't say anything. She just thanked them and left. Next, she went to Daisy's preschool. The teacher told her Daisy's father had picked her up to go on a trip. Ava was furious. She called my phone repeatedly, but it was still off. I was sound asleep. Ava was out of options. She checked into a hotel. She sat on the hotel bed, numb. She couldn't understand why I would sell everything, why I would take Daisy on a trip. I used to tell her everything. Why was she completely in the dark about what I'd done today? She called me, and I dared to yell at her, dared to turn off my phone so she couldn't reach me. She could rack her brain all night and never guess that the Kevin she knew had been replaced. Just as she was mulling over these impossibilities, Leo called. Ava answered, distracted. What is it, Leo? Something wrong. Ava, it's about Mia. She needs to start preschool soon. I thought Daisy school looked pretty good, but I just got back. I don't really know anyone, and I don't have much money for tuition right now. Could you? Could you help me out? Leo sounded a little desperate over the phone. That's a small thing. Don't worry about it. I'll get Mia enrolled tomorrow. Anything else? Ava agreed without a second thought. No, nothing else. It's just, Ava, you didn't do anything to Kevin, did you? He didn't mean to make you angry. Don't take it to heart. I'm sure he'll change. You should be good to him. Even though Kevin doesn't have a formal job, he does all the laundry, cooking, and takes care of Daisy. He works really hard. Leo was back at it, his daily routine of slandering me and trying to drive a wedge between me and Ava. I had no idea what Leo was saying. If I did, I have a few choice words for him. What a piece of work. You haven't even seen the guy, and you can spin a whole drama like this. You missed your calling as a screenwriter. But he was doomed to be disappointed. Ava hadn't seen me. What was there for me to change? Ava listened to Leo's bizarre rambling, not knowing what to say. She couldn't very well tell him I'd sold everything and run off with our daughter on a trip, could she? That would just prove she had no idea where I was, prove she wasn't in control. So, Leo didn't get the reaction he wanted. All he heard was Ava saying, "Don't worry about that. It's my family business. Just remember to bring Mia to the preschool early tomorrow. I'll handle her enrollment." They quickly ended the call. Leo frowned. Something fell off, but he couldn't put his finger on it. It was the first time Ava hadn't ripped into me over the phone after he'd badmouthed me. If Ava didn't yell at me, how would our relationship fall apart? And if our relationship didn't fall apart, how would he get his chance with her? He was thoroughly stumped. He decided he needed to up the ante. Ava put down her phone, gritted her teeth, and dialed my number again. Still no answer. She sent a barrage of threatening texts. Ava felt like I was slipping from her grasp. She vowed to teach me a lesson I wouldn't forget, to make me understand that without her, I was nothing. The next day, Ava showed up at the preschool with dark circles under her eyes. Not long after, Leo arrived with his daughter. Leo was startled when he saw Ava's face. He hurried over to her side, concerned. "Ava, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night?" Ava was in a terrible mood. My phone was still unreachable, and I hadn't replied to her messages. She waved a hand dismissively. "It's nothing. Just pulled a late night. Let's go get Mia's paperwork done." Leo said no more and followed Ava into the preschool. A CEO's connections are no joke. A few phone calls, and Mia's enrollment was processed smoothly. Leo even pulled a slime move. While Ava was handling his daughter's paperwork, he snapped a picture. He captioned it, "Mia's mom taking her to handle enrollment at XX prestigious academy." Then he posted it to his Facebook feed, visible only to me. Ava finished Mia's paperwork quickly and rushed off. The apartment was still empty. She couldn't exactly be homeless, could she? I'd been ruthless in my selling spree, not even leaving her a bed. She had nowhere to sleep. She had to hurry and buy some furniture, or she'd be stuck in a hotel. She could afford a hotel, that wasn't the issue. But Ava was all about appearances. She couldn't stand the embarrassment. Leo had wanted to invite Ava for a meal to, strengthen their bond. But Ava had no time for that. Disappointed, Leo took his daughter to handle the remaining errands himself. He even deliberately found out which class Daisy was in and begged the teacher to put Mia in the same class. Also, he could spread some nasty rumors about Daisy. As for what rumors, Leo had already thought them up. He knew everything about me, Ava, and Daisy. He planned to use the fact that Ava didn't let Daisy call her mom to spread rumors that Daisy didn't have a mother, hoping to crush her self-esteem. But his plan was doomed to fail. I had no intention of ever sending Daisy back to that school. If Daisy wasn't there, who was he going to target? Daisy wouldn't even hear the rumors. By this time, Daisy and I had already taken a couple of different buses and made it back to my old hometown in rural Pennsylvania. My parents died young, which is how I became an orphan, but it's not like I never had them. So, the old family house was still there in my name. Using the memories I'd inherited, Daisy and I stood in front of it. The lock I'd put on the door when I left years ago was still hanging there. I'd long since forgotten where the key was. I found a brick and smashed the lock open in a couple of tries. I went inside to take a look. The yard was overgrown with weeds, but the house itself was still in decent shape. It was a bit dirty inside, but with some cleaning, it would be perfectly livable. A wave of relief washed over me. Livable was good enough. I wasn't asking for much. I took Daisy out to find some help. Sure, I could clean it up myself, but it would take a while. Besides, now that I was back in a small town, it was important to get along with the neighbors. I bought a case of beer and started asking around. Some folks I recognized, some I didn't. The ones I didn't know, I just called sir or ma'am. The neighbors were pretty obliging. When I told them I needed help cleaning up the house and planned to stay for good, they all agreed. I bought a ton of food and drinks. The neighbors, in good spirits, didn't take long at all to help me get the house in order. After it was done, I treated them all to dinner at the local diner. After a few beers, I was friendly with everyone. They knew who I was now, not some outsider. They told me to just ask if I ever needed anything. They'd help if they could. I smiled and thanked them. By the time dinner was over, it was dark. Daisy and I went back home to sleep. Daisy had spent the whole day fascinated by everything in the countryside, chasing dogs, then chickens. She was exhausted and fell asleep quickly. Only then did I have time to turn my phone back on. The moment it powered up, it started buzzing and chiming nonstop. I glanced at it. Ava alone had called dozens of times and sent a flood of messages. I ignored them. I didn't need to read them to know they were all her cursing me out. On Facebook, I saw the picture Leo had posted. I took a screenshot, then dismissed it and blocked him. There were also tons of miscellaneous work messages and preschool notifications. I only kept Ava's contact info. Everyone else's numbers, work group chats, preschool groups, all deleted or exited. I kept Ava's number mainly in case Daisy needed something. Ava's calls, I'd answer if I felt like it, ignore them if I didn't. Who was going to force me? As for getting revenge on Ava and Leo, I didn't see the point. I was just a poor kid. Whatever Ava's reasons, she at least fed and housed me for years, and she hadn't started abusing me because of Leo and Mia. Since I'd chosen to run, there was no need to hate her. Besides, I was just an ordinary guy. How could I possibly fight against someone as rich and powerful as Ava? Being here every day was a bonus. No need to make enemies. Leo, it's not that I looked down on him, but with his level of intelligence, without me and Daisy as a comparison, he'd probably manage to screw himself over. Otherwise, why would he come back to find Ava after all these years? He clearly hadn't made it big overseas and was back looking for Ava to bail him out. Just as I was lost in these thoughts, my phone rang again. It was Ava. Might as well see what she wanted. If she started yelling, I could always hang up. Yeah. Ava, having finally gotten through, was clearly afraid I'd hang up again. She softened her tone. Kevin, where are you? I can't find you. And why did you sell everything in the house? I needed to play it cool, so I started bullshitting. Oh, that. Daisy said she was bored, just looking at me all day, and you never played with her? She wanted to go on a trip to clear her head. I wanted to take her on a nice trip too, but I didn't have any money, right? So I sold a few things, scraped together some cash, and took Daisy traveling. So, when are you coming back? Ava asked quickly. No idea. Depends on Daisy's mood, I guess. I continued, making it up as I went. Well, come back soon. I'm not used to living in such a big house all by myself, Ava said, sounding a little down. Sure. With that, I hung up. Who was she kidding? Not used to it. More like not used to not having me around as her live-in maid, right? I didn't take her words seriously at all. I had no intention of going back. I've been busy for 2 days and was pretty tired. Plus, I was on my home turf. I slept soundly. Ava got to experience me hanging up on her yet again. She was angry again. When Daisy and I lived there, even if she wasn't overly fond of us, at least every time she came home, it felt like a home. She had a husband, a daughter. When we were all there, the house was filled with the hum of life. I'd have dinner ready when she got back. Daisy, even though she couldn't call her mommy, would at least call her Auntie Ava when she came home. But now, thanks to my little escapade, everything belonging to me and Daisy was gone. The furniture we'd used together was sold. There wasn't a single trace of our lives left in that house. Even though Ava had bought all new furniture and household items, she still felt incredibly lonely. Just then, Leo called. Ava answered listlessly, hello. Ava, Mia. She suddenly got sick. Can you come over to my place and help take care of her? I don't have any experience, Leo said frantically over the phone. If she's sick, take her to the hospital. I don't have any experience either. I'm busy, gotta go. Ava shut him down. She was already annoyed that I and Daisy were gone. Leo bringing up his daughter just made her angrier. Your daughter's sick? Go to a hospital. I'm not a doctor. Besides, my own daughter isn't even here. Why would I care about some goddaughter I've known for 2 days? Leo listened to the dial tone, completely stunned. His daughter wasn't actually sick. He just wanted an excuse to stir up trouble between Ava and Daisy. He never imagined Ava would refuse. He thought Ava was so eager to make Mia her goddaughter that her affection for him would naturally extend to his child. He played his trump card, faking his daughter's illness, and figured Ava would at least come check on them. This outcome was not what he wanted. If Ava really didn't care about him and his daughter anymore, what about his debts? It looked like he'd have to take a risk and use his position as Ava's assistant to embezzle company funds. But that was too dangerous. He didn't want to resort to that unless absolutely necessary. He needed to think of another plan. In the following days, I enrolled Daisy in a village preschool. I told the teachers that besides me, Daisy had no other relatives. No one was to take Daisy out of the school, and Daisy wouldn't see anyone else. Daisy was thrilled. After her first day, she came home and told me she loved her new school. Here, They didn't have to learn a bunch of random subjects. Besides essential academics, the teachers spent the rest of the time playing games with the kids. She'd also made a lot of new friends. As long as Daisy was happy, that was all that mattered. I thought she'd need some time to adjust. Since she was happy, this was good. Apart from taking Daisy to preschool, I basically became a hermit. When the townsfolk asked if I didn't need to work, I told them I'd worked too hard over the years and ruined my health, so I couldn't do strenuous labor anymore. A joke. I was sitting on a pile of cash. Why would I need to work? Work for someone else? Not a chance. Working was exhausting. Wasn't just chilling out way better? Besides, as long as I wasn't an idiot, could I even spend all my money? Ava called me whenever she had time. If I was in a good mood, I'd answer and tell her where I was traveling. If I wasn't, I'd just ignore the call. The people in the village didn't have many ways to make money. Their main source of income was the fruit orchards covering the hillsides. Harvest season was approaching, but this year, the buyer they'd arranged with had suddenly bailed. No explanation given. The villagers were all scrambling to find a way to sell their fruit. My neighbor, Mr. Henderson, came to find me. He figured that since I'd spent time in the big city and was a college graduate, I must have some ideas. I listened to Mr. Henderson's request and told him they could try live streaming to sell their fruit. As for the specifics, they'd have to figure out themselves. I wasn't going to manage it. I'd just offer ideas. How it turned out was their business. Mr. Henderson thought my idea was feasible and left my house in high spirits to discuss the details with the others. I enjoyed a few more peaceful days. I never would have imagined that one day Ava would show up at my old hometown with a posse. Hearing Ava yelling my name from outside the gate, I was completely dumbfounded. Later, I realized I knew nothing about how rich people operated. All this time, I'd been giving Ava the runaround, not a single straight answer. She eventually figured something was fishy and used her connections to track me down. I hadn't exactly been trying to hide. Soon enough, she'd pinpointed my current location. Without me and Daisy there as a contrast, all of Leo's and his daughter's schemes fell flat. Ava wasn't a complete idiot. Watching their daily performances was making her increasingly uncomfortable. The more Mia acted up, the more Ava missed her own daughter. Daisy was never as demanding and clingy as Mia. She also knew Leo was embezzling company money, but it wasn't a huge amount, so Ava hadn't bothered to pursue it. The longer Daisy and I were gone, the more she missed us. I wouldn't even answer a video call. That finally made her realize something was seriously wrong. With her resources, finding me was a piece of cake. So, she just showed up with her people. Only, Leo and his daughter had tagged along. Opening the door? Not a chance. I scrambled up the ladder onto my roof. I stood there, looking down at the scene below. Holy crap. Ava had brought several cars. She was banging on the gate, and a crowd of neighbors had gathered to watch the commotion. Leo looked up and spotted me first. Kevin, how could you? No way was I letting that bastard Leo speak. If he opened his mouth, I was guaranteed to suffer. No doubt about it. I quickly yelled, Leo Vance, I've already hidden myself away. Wouldn't it be better for you to just stay in New York City? Why chase me all the way out here? Since you won't leave me alone, then I won't be polite. Before Ava or Leo could say anything else, I shouted again, Mr. Henderson and all you folks. You hold back the others, and that son of a bitch who was just talking, I want you to beat the crap out of him. Break his legs, even better. I promise you, I'll help you live stream and sell your fruit. I guarantee I'll sell every last piece of fruit in this village. I knew asking them to rough someone up wasn't a big deal for country folk, but to get rid of Leo's meddling, I needed something drastic. Mr. Henderson and the others had tried live streaming, but it hadn't gone well. He'd been begging me for help, but I hadn't agreed. Today, I needed them to do me a favor, so I made them an offer. Kevin, are you serious? Mr. Henderson asked excitedly. He knew I was famously lazy. The fact that I was actually agreeing now was a bit hard for him to believe. He needed confirmation. Absolutely. I guarantee it, I said, my voice firm. Then I'm relieved. All right, everyone, let's get this bastard. Mr. Henderson yelled, then motioned for the neighbors to get to work. Ava's people saw she wasn't saying anything, so they stayed out of it. Soon, Leo was beaten to a pulp, one of his legs clearly broken. Mr. Henderson, afraid they might actually kill him, told everyone to stop. I shouted again, Mr. Henderson, call an ambulance for him. Get him far away from here, and don't let him talk. I'll cover all the expenses. The neighbors quickly carried Leo off, his daughter crying and chasing after them. I was genuinely terrified of Leo speaking. I believe it if you told me his words could conjure demons or something. Better to get him out of sight before anything else. It all happened so fast, Ava hadn't even processed it before it was over. What surprised even her was that watching Leo get beaten, even seeing his leg broken, didn't stir much emotion in her. Right now, she only cared about Daisy and what I was thinking. Why had I lied to her? Where was Daisy? That was her main concern. Only then did I look at Ava. This was the first time I'd seen her in person. She was indeed breathtakingly beautiful. No wonder the original me had willingly stayed by her side for so many years, without recognition or status. But I wasn't the original me. I looked at Ava and said, "Ava Mitchell, what are you doing here?" Hearing my question, Ava immediately became agitated. "You're my husband. Daisy is my daughter. What do you think I'm doing here?" The neighbors gasped, hearing Ava's words. I had a wife this beautiful. They'd all assumed Daisy was adopted. The people Ava brought were also shocked. They knew me, knew I'd been Ava's assistant, but they never would have guessed I was their CEO's husband, or that we had a child. I wasn't about to agree with her. I shot back. "All these years, Ava Mitchell, have you ever once treated me like your husband? You wouldn't even let Daisy call you mommy. How dare you say Daisy is your daughter? Have you ever cared for her? Have you ever taken care of her? Don't you already have a daughter who calls you mommy? What are you doing here looking for us?" The crowd below looked like they'd just stumbled upon some prime gossip. Ava hadn't expected me to air all this dirty laundry in public. Her confidence immediately deflated. I just saw Leo, a grown man, struggling to take care of his daughter, and I wanted to help him. As for your status and Daisy, I can fix that immediately. Just come home with me and Daisy. How could I possibly believe her? Ava, that's easy for you to say. Who was it that ditched me and Daisy on her birthday to rush off to the airport to pick up Leo Vance? Don't think I don't know Leo is your old flame. You're still hoping to get back together with him. You even let his daughter call you mommy, something your own daughter never got to do. After all that, if Daisy and I didn't run, were we supposed to just sit around and wait for you to cheat on me? Ava became frantic. That's not true. Don't imagine things. Leo and I dated, yes, but then he went abroad. I'm married to you. We have Daisy. This time, after you and Daisy left, I missed you both terribly. I've barely looked after his child since. What more do you want from me? Just come home. If you're still worried, I'll send Leo to prison. He embezzled company funds. I have all the evidence. Ava tried to persuade me, downplaying her actions. I still didn't believe her. I had no desire to go back and continue waiting on her. Just give it up. Daisy and I are not going back with you. You're really not coming back with me? Ava asked again, a hint of anger in her voice. Not going back, I replied decisively. You're forcing my hand. Don't blame me then, Ava said, gritting her teeth. Nice try, lady. I want nothing. I fear nothing. What are you going to do to me, Ava? This is my turf. However, something completely unexpected happened. Ava, she played dirty. She went straight for the jugular, a full-on personal attack. I watched as Ava fiercely pinched her own thigh a few times, hard enough to squeeze out a few tears. Then, she turned to my neighbors and launched her offensive. Boo, uncles, aunties, sirs, ma'ams. I'm Kevin's wife. This heartless man abandoned me in New York City and ran off with our daughter. I never did anything to wrong him. I certainly never cheated on him. All I want is for him and our daughter to come home and live a good life with me. But he just won't agree. Ava wailed, tears streaming down her face, constantly dabbing her eyes. The neighbors looked on, their hearts softening. One soft-hearted older woman couldn't stand it anymore. She stepped forward and took Ava's hand. There, dear. Don't cry. Let me try to talk some sense into Kevin for you. Ava's eyes lit up for a split second, but she quickly hid it, still sobbing as she said to the woman, Really? You can help me persuade Kevin? Don't worry. As long as you can convince Kevin and Daisy to come home with me, I'll buy all the fruit from your village, no matter how much there is. The old woman heard Ava, and so did everyone else around. They all started asking, Kevin's wife, are you serious? If we help you get Kevin back, you'll really buy our fruit? All of it. The neighbors had dropped the polite dear, and were now calling her Kevin's wife, trying to get on her good side. Ava, hearing them call her Kevin's wife, practically purred. Of course, as long as you can get Kevin and Daisy to come home with me, I'll buy not just this year's fruit, but future harvests too. I'm rich. This is chump change to me. The neighbors were ecstatic. This was a golden goose. They couldn't afford to offend her. They had to keep her happy, which meant I was about to get screwed. No wonder they used to call unworldly folks easily swayed. These people were easily bought, all right. A few promises, and they were completely won over. Kevin's wife, don't you worry. We'll definitely get Kevin and your daughter to go back with you. If we have to, we'll tie them up and send them back. That was Mr. Henderson. I was floored. Suddenly, standing alone on the roof, I felt a profound sense of desolation. But these damn hicks were going to be the death of me. Kevin, son, we don't want to do this. We're all from the same village. You're our dear neighbor, and you've helped us out a lot. But your wife's offer is just too good. mister? Henderson began, his voice heavy with mock sorrow as he started negotiating with me. Kevin, you're just lazing around here in the village anyway. Why not go back to the city and laze around there? At least the beds in the city are more comfortable, right? What the hell, mister? Henderson, I never knew you were this kind of person, capable of saying such cold, heartless things. Don't you have a conscience? But damn it, mister. Henderson, you actually made a good point. For a moment, I was speechless. Ava and Mr. Henderson saw I wasn't saying anything. Just as Mr. Henderson was about to try persuading me further, Ava stopped him. Kevin, I can give you a chance. You don't have to come back. It just depends on whether you agree to my terms. Ava had gone to all this trouble just to get me and Daisy home. How could she possibly let me off the hook so easily? But what if? There's always a what if, isn't there? I looked at her expectantly. Are you serious? Ava smiled sweetly at me. I am. It just depends on whether you can seize the opportunity and whether you can endure it. My eyes lit up. Let's hear it. Ava said slowly. I'll have Mr. Henderson lock you in the house. No problem. Lazing around is lazing around, no matter where. I wasn't bothered. I'll provide your food and drink. Food and drink are enough. What more could I ask for? Acceptable. I'll let you keep your phone. A phone is good. Food, drink, and a phone. I could lie around until the end of time. But I'll cut off your internet access. What the hell? That's brutal. That's like a death sentence. I can do the slacker life, but I need to be a happy slacker. Without internet, how would I kill time? Could I still be a happy slacker? Might as well just kill me now. Well, I've given you the chance. Do you want it? Ava delivered her ultimatum. No one can help me now. I had to temporarily resign myself to my fate and agree. Ava had the people she brought with her discuss the fruit purchasing deal with the easily swayed villagers. She came into my house and watched me pack. She clearly looked down on a place like this. Only when she saw I'd cleaned the house thoroughly did she refrain from saying anything, probably afraid of provoking me further. I finished packing quickly. There wasn't much to take. Where's Daisy? Ava asked, seeing I was done. Daisy's at preschool. We'll go pick her up now, I said, annoyed. I really didn't want to go back. I was scared. All right, let's go then, Ava said, turning to leave. I took one last look at my old house, shook my head, locked the door again, and reluctantly left. I picked Daisy up from preschool. When Daisy saw Ava was there too, she was very happy. Auntie Ava, you came to pick me up too. Perhaps Ava had genuinely learned to care for Daisy. She quickly bent down and hugged her. Daisy, from now on, you can call me Mommy. Mommy knows she was wrong. Daisy hadn't expected happiness to arrive so suddenly. She couldn't quite believe what Ava was saying. Really? Can I call you Mommy now? Really, Daisy? You're my own daughter. Of course, you should call me Mommy. It was all Mommy's fault before. Mommy will change, Ava said, her eyes red, holding back tears. Daisy beamed. This was her lifelong dream. Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. Daisy kept calling Ava Mommy over and over, as if trying to make up for all the lost opportunities. Ava finally broke down, hugging Daisy and crying. Yes, yes, yes. Ava kept responding to Daisy. Watching them, mother and daughter, interacting like this, my own eyes grew a little misty. I rubbed my eyes, patted Ava on the back, then picked up Daisy. Let's go home. On the way, Daisy alternated between calling Mommy and Daddy, seemingly tireless. Ava and I responded to her every time. Daisy was probably terrified of losing one of us again. She didn't dare to sleep, just kept calling out. But Daisy was still so young. After a while, she finally succumbed to sleep, though she still held onto her mommy's hand with one hand and her daddy's with the other. Looking at the sleeping Daisy, then at Ava, who couldn't stop her tears, I felt a pang in my heart. Daisy didn't ask for much. Why couldn't Ava and I give her that? What was I supposed to do? The driver made good time. Soon, we were back at our home in New York City. I carried the sleeping Daisy to her bed, making sure she was comfortable. I went to the living room. Ava was already there, waiting for me. I sat down, waiting for her to speak. Kevin, we need to have an honest talk, Ava began. I nodded, letting her continue. Ava said softly, Now, can you tell me why you sold everything in the house and left with Daisy? I want the truth. What else could it be? I said impatiently. Her asking such a stupid question just annoyed me. Look, you didn't care about me and Daisy, and that was fine. We were used to it. We all lived together. We still saw you every day. But the moment Leo Vance came back, you ditched us on Daisy's birthday to go pick him up. We didn't say anything. Then you let Leo's daughter call you Mommy, while still not letting Daisy call you that. You had another daughter, so you cared even less about us. What were we supposed to do but run? Were we supposed to stay and fight with Leo and his daughter for your affection? Daisy and I aren't that worthless. We're not going to fight for it. Can't we just leave? Seeing my agitation, Ava quickly said, That was all my fault. I admit it, and I apologize to you and Daisy. I will never do anything like that again. And after you left, I immediately realized that Daisy is our real daughter. I should be good to Daisy. Besides, Daisy is so well-behaved, while Mia just clings to me all day, demanding things. She drives me crazy. I also realized that Leo has changed. He's not the person he used to be. He even embezzled money from my company. I didn't want to hear it. Being good to someone isn't about words, it's about actions. What are you actually going to do? Ava thought for a moment. I'll pick Daisy up from preschool every day. In the evenings, I'll play with her, read her stories, draw with her. On weekends, I'll take her to amusement parks. I'll start with that. If I think of more later, I'll add it. Hearing that, I was somewhat satisfied, but I was still a little uneasy. What about Leo and his daughter? How are you going to deal with them? Ava gritted her teeth, as if making a monumental decision. I won't see them again. I'll hand over the evidence of Leo embezzling company funds to the police. Once he's recovered, let him go to jail. As for his daughter, let the police handle her too. Whether she goes to relatives or a foster home, I won't be involved anymore. What do you think of that? I was afraid of more surprises. Then you need to write a guarantee. And Leo's leg, don't let it heal properly. He needs to be disabled, at least enough so he can't run. I'm worried he'll try to escape prison. That kind of thing isn't too difficult for you, is it? Fine. I can agree to all of that, Ava said readily. I don't care what you say. I need to see what you do, I said, not easily convinced. Also, from now on, I'm not cooking or doing housework anymore. I might not even go out to work again. Do you agree to that? Ava smiled. I'll make sure you're satisfied. You don't have to cook or do chores. Do it if you feel like it, don't if you don't. And you don't have to work. I'll look into how you've been living these past few days. If you can lie down, you absolutely will not stand. I can cook too. From now on, I'll cook for you and Daisy. If I really can't, we'll hire someone. I have plenty of money, as long as you and Daisy stay by my side. These days without you, I really haven't been myself. I don't even know what I need so much money for. I cut her off. No matter what you say now, I'm going to watch what you do. If you still don't satisfy me and Daisy, I'll take her and run again. But this time, it won't just be running. I'll wait until Daisy is grown, and then I'll come back and drag you to hell. Ava knew I was just a broke kid from a small town, but seeing the look in my eyes now, she felt a sudden chill. She believed that the current me wasn't just talking. I really might have the ability to drag her to hell. With that, I went back to my room to rest. And you know what? Mr. Henderson was right. Damn, that old coot hit the nail on the head. The beds in the city really are more comfortable than the ones back home. For the next few days, apart from occasionally bonding with Daisy, I did absolutely nothing. Ava kept her promises. She not only wrote a formal guarantee, but also sent Leo to prison. Leo's daughter was placed in foster care by social services. Leo's life was pretty much over. His leg was permanently crippled, and he was drowning in debt. He was in for a world of hurt. Most days, Ava did the cooking. Only when she was extremely busy would she order takeout. She handled almost all the housework. These were also Daisy's happiest days. Every day, her mom took her to and from preschool. Her mom also spent a lot of time playing with her. She felt incredibly happy. She wished these days could last forever. One evening, after I'd eaten my fill and put Daisy to bed, I contentedly opened my phone and lay down on my bed. Just then, Ava came into my room. I noticed she must have just showered. She was wearing a silk nightgown. I had a pretty good idea why she was in my room at this hour. So, Your Majesty, have my efforts these past few days met with your approval? Ava said, seating herself on my bed without invitation. I hadn't expected Ava to suddenly come into my room, much less sit on my bed like that. I stared at her, wide-eyed, nearly getting a nosebleed. I was still a damn virgin, for Christ's sake. I mean, I had some theoretical knowledge, but I'd never experienced an assault on the senses like this. I completely missed what she said, mesmerized by the expanse of pale skin before me. Ava, seeing I wasn't responding, waved her hand in front of my face. What are you staring at? I asked you a question. Your Majesty. She followed my gaze, then quickly clutched her nightgown tighter and muttered, pervert. But she didn't leave, still waiting for my answer. I finally snapped back to reality. What did you ask? Sorry, I didn't quite hear you. Ava's face immediately flushed. I just wanted to ask if you were satisfied with what I've been doing these past few days. Is there anything I haven't done well enough? I thought for a moment. Not bad. Keep it up. Things are good like this. The most important thing is that Daisy is happy. What about you? What do you think of how I've been treating you? Ava pressed. Me? You've actually been pretty good to me lately. It's just, I was about to continue, but Ava cut me off. I know I was bad to you before. It's understandable that you're upset and angry with me. I used to think you were just after my money, but you never thought that way. You just wholeheartedly took care of me and our daughter, while I always treated you both coldly. That was my fault. But after you left, I realized how much I really need you both. I realized how terribly wrong I was. I chose to marry you and have a child for my own reasons, and then I didn't treat you well. That was my mistake. Seeing other people with their husbands and daughters, those warm family scenes, I envied them. I have a husband and a daughter too. Why couldn't I be happy? I thought about it for a long time, and I decided I want to live a good life with you. When I called you, you were always so dismissive. It took me a long time to realize something was wrong, and then I investigated your whereabouts. When I found you, I realized you'd left because you were so disappointed in me. That's why you lied to me. So I brought people to your hometown and did everything I could to bring you back. I want to cherish what I have. Leo and his daughter, what do they matter? They're not what I need. Kevin, I've told you everything I wanted to say. Do you have any desires for the future? I'll fulfill them. Hearing Ava say so much, it seemed her perspective had somewhat normalized. What desires could I have? As long as Daisy is raised well, that's enough. I'll take care of raising Daisy too. I mean, do you have any ambitions? Ava continued to ask. I was a bit confused. What ambitions could I have? I don't have any. Right now, all I want is to be able to lie around comfortably. Ava got agitated. How can you only think about slacking off? Shouldn't you have some loftier ideals? I said slowly, my highest ambition right now is to slack off. Is there a problem with that? Ava suddenly looked a little uncomfortable. Haven't you ever thought about, carrying on the family line, having a son or something? I was momentarily stunned. I haven't thought about it. Besides, I can't exactly. I'm willing. I'm willing to have a son for you. Ava blurted out before I could finish, perhaps wanting to compensate for all her years of neglect. I looked at her, incredulous. Really? Ava nodded. Then, as if stealing her resolve, slowly slipped off her nightgown and threw herself into my arms. Even if I were a man of iron will, I couldn't resist this temptation. Later, lying there with Ava nestled in my arms, I felt utterly content. Ava smiled at me. Honey, your highest ambition might not be achievable anymore. I chuckled. How could it not be? My demands aren't high. As long as I have food and drink, I can slack off. Besides, you're so rich, I don't even have a choice but to slack off. A cunning glint appeared in Ava's eyes. Well, since you chose to have a son, if I give you one, wouldn't that mean I can't work for at least a year, maybe more? And you wouldn't want to just abandon such a big company, would you? So, wouldn't you have to manage the company? And if so, wouldn't that mean you can't slack off anymore? Holy crap. What Ava said was very likely true. Was my life of blissful inactivity over just like that? Thinking of this, I smacked myself hard on the forehead. Damn, I was careless. Why couldn't you resist a little temptation? Now your slacker days are gone.